Okay, so I've literally just come back from overseas and I found a whole pile of mail that my neighbors left for me, including my new discs. So I got a Lumma Menstrual Disc, which is the unicorn style in a medium. And sorry, I can just see the cat trying to get into the toilet. Out of there. Which means that I need to pour her some water. Be right back. As I was saying, I've got the Lumma Menstrual Disc Unicorn in a size M, and also the Lumma Menstrual Disc Pink Love in a size small. So basically you can order one, get one free, so I thought I might as well get the two and just see how both sizes go. With a cup, I'm a Fleur cup in a medium. So unfortunately there's no test to see what size you would be with a disc, like there is with the Put a Cup in It page on Facebook, where there's a number of different cup sizing and cup style sort of tests you can do online by checking the length of your cervix and like position of your cervix, if it's tilted forwards or backwards and things like that. So in terms of the disc, let's open it and see what we've got here. So it says features may be used for up to 12 consecutive hours, designed for a medium cervix, appropriate for light, medium, heavy or very heavy menstrual flows, can be worn during sex, does not require suction to stay in place. The reason I wanted to try a disc was mainly in terms of the suction issue. So I have issues with trying to take my cup out without bearing down, so I figured using something like a disc that doesn't have suction would reduce any possible risk of me bearing down, which could in the long term potentially lead to issues such as a prolapse and things like that. So the size medium is diameter 2.48 inches or 6.3 centimeters. Capacity is 1.85 ounces or 55 mils. The thing about a disc is that when you take it out, it's an auto dump. So I would most likely do this in the shower, beginning and end of the day. It's got like a little bag. That's nice. And it comes with an instruction booklet. So it has instructions for insertion and removal. Always start by washing your hands thoroughly. Put the disc in boiling water for 3 minutes. You can wear it up to 12 hours. Squeeze the middle of the rim to form an 8 shape. Keep the string facing out. Insert the disc into the vaginal canal and push until you feel that it's positioned under your cervix. I have wondered whether I should have gotten disposable disc, like a set of 10 or 12, and tried that before I use this, but oh well, I bought it now. So here we have my medium unicorn disc. It's a bit different in terms of the shape to a cup, so it can sit right up against your cervix and no suction needed. So I guess that would be the entrance, and this would be up here cupped around my cervix, and then I would just pull this to take it out, I'm assuming. Let's wait until I need to use it. Next we've got the small. So let's have a look at the different sizing between a medium and a small. Oh, that was a lot easier to open. So again, I've got a little bag to put it in and an instruction booklet, and with the sizing on a small. So this was the Pink Love. Oh, I love this. I actually like this color more than the unicorn. So here we've got the Pink Love size, and you can see that it's quite a bit smaller compared to the unicorn. So I will sterilize them both before I use them. I can see there's a bit of like, I don't know, some sort of material in here which looks like just plasticky sort of things. I'm assuming it comes straight out of a factory and therefore it's probably not clean. Anyway, sterilize it before using. So we've got the different sizes here. That's a huge difference. I'm glad I got 2 sizes to try, just to make sure and see what's right for me. Alright, so let's see how it goes. I will try both sizes when I need to use it and do a follow-up post and just let you know how it goes. Hi everyone, so it's finally time to try my menstrual disc, and what I'm thinking is I might actually try the small Lumma cup first. So as I mentioned, I've got the two sizes, the small and medium, but due to the size similarity with my cup, I think the small might be a better option. So as you can see, the cup and a Lumma small are very similar in size compared to a cup and a medium. Yeah. And so what I'll do is try the small, and if that's working well, see how I go over the next few days, and maybe just stick with the small and resell the medium or something, since I haven't used it at all. So what I'm going to do is just sterilize the small cup in some boiling water in this pot, and then take it upstairs, try it in the shower and see how I go. So the directions say that if this was your vagina here, you would be squeezing the disc like so, putting it inside, and then once you're about there, let go and it will open up. And this should be sitting like this with the stringy bit just sort of in the entrance of your vagina, right about there. So that should be sitting nice and snug around your cervix. Okay, I've just boiled some water and I'm gonna place it in this pot here. What I've done is just put my disc in a whisk so that the bottom of the disc doesn't touch the pot and potentially melt the silicone or damage it. Not everyone does this. I don't know if it's absolutely necessary, but I've just heard that this is something you can do to protect your cup or disc. So here we go, I'm just placing it in the boiling water. I wouldn't necessarily sterilize it every time I take it in or out. I haven't done that with my cup, but I definitely do sterilize it between each cycle. Okay, so that was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be to get the disc inside me. Much easier than I find inserting a cup, even after 3.5 years of using my cup now. I think the difference is with a disc, it's so much softer, and it's just the one fold to insert it straight in with, like, I guess you don't have that hard wall on the bottom like you would with a cup as well, where it's just hard everywhere. So it's called a soft disc for a reason. I can't feel it walking around normally, but I can feel it if I'm like tensing and sort of, you know, doing Kegels and squeezing, which obviously I think that's reasonable to be able to feel that. But just generally, I feel like I can move around and stretch and stuff and be like, hiya. And I don't feel like I'm just gonna gush blood, I guess. But I wanna see how it goes tonight. I am wearing my Thinx underwear, my period underwear anyway, just as double protection, just to make sure I don't have any accidents. But I'm gonna put this disc through a few tests. Okay, so it's safe to say my disc has passed the test. There doesn't seem to be any leakage at all on my period underwear, but I have only just been running around for about 5 minutes and stretching to try and see if anything would happen. So who knows, it might take a while. From what I've read previously, I don't know how accurate this is, but it's supposed to take about 24 hours for the blood to travel from the top of your vagina down to the entrance. So from the cervix to the entrance, and then would go on your underwear or pads or period products. So it might take about 24 hours for me to actually know if this is leaking or not. But at this point, it feels really comfortable and it feels like it's probably opened up inside me. It's tricky because I don't really know how to feel to see if it has opened or not without
potentially moving something out of place. So let's see, I'm going to keep an eye on it and keep using it over this week. Obviously change it every 8 hours, and then see how I go and maybe do an overall review at the end of the week. Okay, so I've actually just removed and reinserted my Lumma cup for the first time, and it was pretty easy. I just had it inside me and then kind of just tugged on the string and wiggled it out. And it was an auto dump. I was able to do it in the shower, but I can't see it being too hard to do it in the toilet either. But I did find that as it moved, because it's an auto dump function, it kind of just tipped the blood all down the back of the disc, or the underside of the disc, and it kind of just went out of me. And it was a bit disconcerting to see so much blood on the underside, but I have asked other people about it, and apparently that's quite normal. So it could be from when you auto dumped that the blood was on the bottom, or from before you even inserted the cup, there was already blood that was flowing down through your vagina that may have gotten on the bottom of the underside of the disc. So don't be alarmed if you see that. I'm just showing you with the medium Lumma disc here, because the small is still inside me, but it has been very easy to take in and out, and I think it would be quite easy to also do in a public toilet, depending on if you sort of have wet wipes or access to water in the same cubicle and things like that. I'm not someone who really changes my cup in public places, but I feel like the disc would be a bit easier to do. So overall, I thought the disc was really good for me, and actually a huge improvement on my cup. Both are great because they're, reusable, save the environment, save money, are more comfortable than a pad, definitely. But I find that with a cup, I need a break. So if I have it in for about 8 to 12 hours, I then just need to have it out and just be free bleeding with my Thinx reusable period underwear, or just just have a break for a bit, to be honest. But with a disc, I didn't feel like that at all. I could basically have it in there for 8 hours, remove it, put it back in, and just keep doing that all through my cycle, all through the week. It was really good, but there was just a couple of times where I was a bit scared that it was leaking. So once when I was out at a restaurant, and luckily there was a toilet that had a sink with it, so I could remove the disc, dump, wash it, put it back in. I do wonder though what it would be like being in a situation where you're in the stalls and you need to leave and wash it in the sink. I've never really changed my cup in a public bathroom before, so I haven't had that issue, but I know a number of people have wet wipes. With the disc, I think though it's a similar size, I feel like it does hold less than my cup, just because the bottom is so soft and can kind of go in like this around my cervix. So that's potentially why it holds less, and I need to change it more often. I also found with using the disc that when I went to the toilet, it did get dislodged, and there was some blood that came out, and it sort of auto dumped a little bit, the blood. But I could then just put my finger, check that the rim was around my cervix. But yeah, I feel like, in an ideal situation, I would like to remove it every time I go to the toilet, which may not work for some people. When I go to the toilet to do a poo, not a pee. With peeing, it was fine. What else? I think some common tips that work for me with the cup as well as a disc is just having your mouth loose when you're inserting it. So Ina May Gaskin talks about how all your sphincters are linked, and when your mouth is open and loose, the rest of your body opens up and is looser. So that's a common tip with childbirth, and for some reason, for me, it also works with inserting this into my vagina or a cup. Another tip that I find really works for me that's based on childbirth, childbirth sort of advice, that's I think from Scandinavian countries. I also read that in one of Ina May Gaskin's books. Is called the shaking of the apples.
And basically that means in childbirth, when you're having trouble opening up, the woman kind of just stands there, and the midwife or whoever's assisting may grab her thighs and just shake them, and that kind of just loosens everything up and may help your cervix open up. So when I have a disc or cup inside me and I'm not sure if it's open yet, I kind of just stand there and grab my thighs and just shake myself around, and that kind of just helps everything open a bit more. And if the cup potentially was squished inside and not opening, it then opens up and has that room to push up. So that's probably my two biggest tips for using a disc. Yeah, I think 1 week in, I'm really loving it. I'm going to definitely keep using it. Most definitely at home, and probably, you know, mix it up with my cup when I go out for long periods of time. I find that my cup is probably the best option for me where I'm going out for about 12 hours and I don't have access to a bathroom that has a sink right next to me, which for most of us is all our bathrooms at work or in public places where there's stalls and there's no cubicle that has a sink in it. But definitely great investment. I'm really happy with it, and I would highly recommend a disc to anyone who wants to try one.